Hi, my name is Aneiszka Sea. I'm 27 years old and I'm from Holland, Vermont. Let's talk about why I am America's Next Top Model. I have the confidence, I have the experience, I have the look, I have the personality, and I have the strength. My entire life has been prepped for this moment, for this period of time in my life. I have been through it to get here. I was teased my entire life going to school. Probably it started in elementary school all the way up through about 10th or 11th grade, and they made fun of my hair and my freckles and my gap, everything about me, my body, and it really required a lot of strength and a lot of fortitude and a lot of ignoring what people said and remembering what I want and who I am and what my goals were and to push past it. And even when I moved out to California, it was your freckles look like dirt, or get your teeth fixed, or get your boobs done. And for me to just really be strong in myself and know who I am and say, honey, I have something unique and I'm not changing it because it is going to be there to show the world. And I think the fact that I am so different gets me pretty far. I think I am pretty badass as well. I ride horses, I've done martial arts, I've done gymnastics, I have shotguns and done archery, all kinds of stuff. And I think that in addition to what you can do or what you have done physically, I think also what makes you badass is your attitude, because I am a hard worker and I don't really take no for an answer. There's no wall that you can't go around or get over or under, contrary to what that song says. There is a mountain you can climb. There's nothing that can stop me. And I think that's what really makes you a badass at heart. I think some of my biggest accomplishments, one of my most favorite things I've done, I was able to shoot with Lady Gaga up at Hearst Castle. It was a 3-day shoot, and I mean, that to me was like, Mama, I made it. It was amazing. The scenery was beautiful, the people were beautiful, and really what just makes me my happiest is being on set like that and seeing the artistry come together and everyone working together. I mean, that was one of my most happiest, proudest moments, was that. I've also worked with Spike Lee, Drake, Future, Chris Brown. I've shot underwater, which was really cool, in like this big bridal gown. I did a video like that for Mac Miller, and it was so cool to see, especially my hair under the water. Like, it was just like octopus tentacles or like ink. It was amazing. I've also shot with Ricky Middlesworth, who we did an amazing Adam and Eve shoot. That's one of my all-time favorites. It just turned out like people were passing it around and like, oh my gosh, look at this artwork. And that's a very proud moment for me. I've also done Gleam campaign, which was like a body makeup, and that was really cool to see me on the campaign. As well as I've worked with Tyra before, and that to me was so inspirational to see how a driven and effective and powerful, not only model, but businesswoman carries herself and handles herself on and off set. And it was very inspiring and it was very educational. And I was just like, oh my God, let me like suck up everything I can through osmosis from her. So that was a lot of fun, and that was a very proud moment for me as well. The way I grew up, it was pretty tough. As I mentioned earlier, I was tormented a lot as a kid, not only by people at school, but sometimes like family members. I was just kind of picked on a lot because I was quiet, so people felt like, oh, she won't say anything. So I was a very easy target. I spent a lot of time alone, daydreaming, which has done me good because everything I daydreamed about I have or I do now, and I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed to have that. But my mom was a single mom. I grew up without my dad, which was very hard. Always being like, why doesn't he want me? Like, am I not good enough? Am I not pretty enough? And then going through everything I went through in school kind of reinforce that idea, like I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough. And that was part of the reason I have such a drive to be successful. It kind of was fostered and blossomed as a child, being like, oh, maybe if I kind this model, like my mom was a model and she was gorgeous, like if I'm beautiful and this model and gorgeous like my mom, maybe people will stop picking on me and they'll see, and then my dad will be like, wow, my daughter's beautiful, and want to be in my life. So there's a lot of things that were tough growing up as a child. I had a huge family. I have 6 brothers and I have 3 sisters. One of my younger brothers passed away when I was 18 and he was 17. So that was pretty hard to deal with, being that young and have such an unexpected death. It was an accident he had been in. So I definitely did not have the easiest childhood. We were on a farm, a sheep farm, a working farm. So that means you have to get up at 5 a.m., clean up all the poop, feed all the animals, make sure everything is good to go, take them out of the barn, put them in the pasture, and then go back, clean up, get ready for school, go to school, come home, do your homework, and do it all over again in reverse. Put them in the barn, clean up the poop, feed them, tuck them in for the night, everything. So I think that's part of the reason I also have such a huge work ethic, and I am not afraid of working hard for what I want. I actually welcome it. I prefer to work hard for what I want than to get handouts, because to me that's just not something that I could respect myself for. Why I want this so badly. I think ever since I was 16, I've kind of been like, wow, America's Next Top Model. Like, can you imagine, this farm girl having these stars in her eyes? And I want it badly because not only do I want it for myself, I partially think that it will help me to further my healing as and I know my validation as I'm good enough. I've done this, I've accomplished things, and I have not backed down from any challenge I set for myself as a child. I feel like it's in my soul, it's in my blood, it's my purpose, and it's something that I have fought so hard for, so incredibly hard for, ever since I was 12 years old. And I think that not only can I feel good in myself for doing something like this, I can make other people feel good. I can share my story. I can take my exposure from something like this and go talk to young girls and talk to people who are maybe bullying other young girls and let them know, hey, just because you have crazy hair, you have freckles, you have a goofy body, no boobies and a big butt, and you're skinny and tall and all this stuff, it doesn't mean that you don't matter or that other people have the right to pick on you for it. And that's something I have always wanted to do, with having a certain level of exposure or being America's Next Top Model. I mean, I can imagine my voice could be heard so many places, and I want to make a change with it. I know that everything I've been through and everything I've done, it's not for nothing. And there's so many great places that I've gone and that I'm going to go. My unique interest. So I will be attaching a video. I actually own and ride horses. I know that's such a model-y thing to do, but I grew up on a farm, so I grew up riding farm horses, actually sneaking and riding the neighbor's farm horses without permission. And then I got caught one day, and they made a phone call to my mom, and I was like, was it me? And my mom was like, oh, so you're telling me that there was another little girl with crazy curly hair galloping around the neighbor's pasture on their horse bareback? And I was like, yeah, oh, I would never do that. I would never. And my mom was like, we live in the boondocks. There's 2 houses here. We have 100 acres, and the neighbor's a dairy farmer. I'm pretty sure it was you. So then she was like, you're getting riding lessons. So I've been riding since then. I've owned a few horses. It's a huge passion of mine. There's nothing like it. Just that freedom and that connection and just kind of that feeling of being with this being who doesn't have to let you, but they let you ride on them and ask things of them and do things, and it's just it's amazing. It's like nothing you could ever really experience. But you know, it's not for everybody. Either you love it or you don't, and it's in my soul, just like modeling. My personality would kind of be, I mean, a lot of people tell me, you're so positive and you're so happy, and like, I don't know how you do it. You can be like, oh, my car broke down, but that's okay, it'll all work out. And it's true. I don't let things get to me. I know everything works out for the best, and because I've seen such a clear path in my journey and where I've come from and where I've been and where I'm going, I don't really sweat a whole lot of stuff. I know that not everything is permanent, and because I've been able to create such a life for myself at this point, I know that I don't really need to be frustrated or upset by things, even though sometimes I do get frustrated and upset, and I'm a very impatient person. I have to remind myself, like, hey, it's for a reason. So I think a lot of people are always surprised by my positivity and my drive, and I'm a very, very, very focused person. Like, now I don't date. I don't go out on dates. I am very focused on what I'm doing. So I think a lot of people are surprised by that. Also, I'm a happy person because I know how blessed I am. But at the same time, I can be very headstrong, and that can work in my favor, or sometimes it's like, okay, stop, take a step back, evaluate things. Don't just bulldoze forward because you're like, no, I'm going to get there. So I know that can sometimes frustrate a lot of people. But I think for the most part, people either love me or they hate me. So I will get where I need to get, and I will do what I need to do regardless. But I would love your help. Once again, I'm Aneiszka Sea. I'm 27 years old, and I'm from Vermont. Thank you.